Hey everyone, Cookies here. I was thinking about making some class guides for Mythic Plus and raiding, but I decided instead of doing that, because there's so many other channels where you could just go find that information, so it's a big time sink for me to spend on when there's other content creators that provide just as good, if not better, guides than I could. So I want to instead show you guys like my approach towards finding that information rather than having to wait on those guides to come out and whatnot in the future when new patches and whatnot drop. So we're just going to kind of walk through like step by step how I would go about finding out information. And the main approach to this is, or I guess mindset is, you want to take as much information in as possible that is good information and made by, solid players who have a lot of experience in the game. And then you want to combine all of that information together into making your own decisions for yourself, for your own gameplay, for your own content, all that. So the first thing that you should always do is visit a site like Icy Veins or Wowhead. These sites are super simple and they're straightforward, and they just update these guides with every major patch. So let's say that we're gonna go in and try to find out, what setup or optimizations we can make to a Resto Shaman. Let's say we play Resto Shaman. So we just simply go to Icy Veins. We're gonna go to Classes in the WoW section. We're gonna go to Restoration Shaman. And they're gonna have all these different categories of things that we can look at, read, all this stuff. I would recommend avoiding like the easy mode thing, because basically it's just gonna cut everything down into like one paragraph and kind of tell you what to do. So I guess you could read this if you're like just starting out, but I would very much recommend like going through a few of these. So like you're interested in what talents you should take, go in here and check what talents. It's going to give you like, check marks on multiple things, tell you like what's good, what's not. But this is where you scroll down and you just use this stuff. So it'll tell you, in raid, you should use these talents. In dungeons, you should use these talents. And then you can scroll down even further and read information about every row of talent, all that stuff. And they keep this all up to date, and it's written by people that are, notable in the community and whatnot. So that should be your first step, but this shouldn't be the only thing you look at. You shouldn't just go to Icy Veins and then be like, boom, I know everything about Resto Shaman. All of this is correct. I'm good to go, because the game constantly is evolving and we have to adapt to that as players. So this may be, slightly out of date. You can always check. I believe they're, last updated on March 9th. So that's pretty recently. So that's good. You can always check like the last updated date, but still 11 days from today, that's still, pretty relevant in terms of information that could have changed by now, especially with the latest patch just coming out. So the next thing that we should check is our class Discord. So the class Discords, you can just go on Google and type in World of Warcraft class Discords, and you just want to find yours. There's a Resto Shaman specific one, and there's also just a regular Shaman one called Earth Shrine, Earth Shrine, and then you have Ancestral Guidance, which is the Restoration Shaman Discord. And we're just going to go in here. They have a bunch of stuff you can read through, and we're essentially going to go into the FAQ section and just read this stuff. It's going to tell you, extra information that you need to know. There's also additional links to other things, so we can check, like they have this guide to ancestralguidance.com, which I have open right here. And this is like an interactive website that they have that allows you, so you can see there's like a bunch of outdated stuff, but we can maybe find like, okay, so this looks like it's all pretty much BFA stuff, but looks like we have some Shadowlands stuff. Let's see. Scroll down here. Here we go. So there's an article that was released at the end of last year about the different covenants. So this will tell you about the different covenant abilities, why they might be good, why they might be bad. And then it will even show us like the soulbind trees that we have accessible and whatnot to us. And it even tells us like what route we should be looking to take in these scenarios. And again, this is, and then they have this table of contents, which will show you like kind of a rough estimation of like what essentially what covenant you should pick. And then, so these websites give you that extra information that you need. And then also don't just read that in the class Discord, go to the class Discord and go to like the chat that they have. So they have like Resto chat. And you want to click up here on the pins of the Discord and just read through all of these. Even if they don't necessarily apply to you or you don't know what they're about, just reading through these and seeing, what people are saying and whatnot, can change your mind on something. Like there's, we saw on Icy Veins, it said for raid, you could either take Torrent or Unleash Life, but like here, there's a pin. Please do not take Torrent. It's not good because, and they give you reasons, and then here it tells you Torrent versus Undulation and Raids, like what's the difference between the two talents and all that. So it gives you extra information to base your decision making on. And then after we check Discord, which would be the next most up-to-date thing, the last thing that we should check is Warcraft logs. So we should go to warcraftlogs.com. We're going to click on these 3 lines up here at the top. We're going to go to the latest raid. We can just go to rankings, it's totally fine. Now there are a lot of things here that can be skewed, so this is why we take that information that we've learned so far from Icy Veins and our class guide or Wowhead and all that stuff, and we mix it with Warcraft logs data. Because this will show us the most up-to-date information available in the current raid tier. So we go here to rankings, we're going to go switch to damage, and we're going to go to healing. And then we're going to pick our class. We'll go to Shaman, we'll go to Restoration, and then we can see this is Mythic, for instance, so if you wanted to see Heroic, you could go to Heroic. We'll just take a look at Mythic. You can first of all see what Covenant people are running, so it will give you an idea of what the best Covenant choice probably is. So here you see an overwhelming amount of Necrolords, and then a few Venthyrs sprinkled in on some bosses. So that tells you that Necrolord is by far, it seems, the best choice for raid, and Venthyrs could be viable and also seems to not be too far off. It also tells you what trinkets people are using, so you can see what trinkets are being, most valued by players. You can see what talent setups people are averagely running on every fight, so that gives you an idea of, what talents you should run. And again, we mix this information in with the Discord and the websites that we've been looking at, and Discord tells us why people are taking Torrent in logs and maybe why you shouldn't, and you should instead run Unleash Life. So that's why we combine all this information together. This also tells you what legendary people are running. So you see an overwhelming amount of Primal Tidal Cores and then a few random legendaries kind of sprinkled in. So seeing the overwhelming amount of Primal Tidal Cores kind of tells you, what you should be running. And typically it looks like the people who aren't running Primal Tidal Core are not Necrolord. So, and sometimes they are, but it seems like the majority of people who aren't running it are usually Venthyr. And then the last thing, we can see conduits, and yeah, so Warcraft logs will give you an idea. You can even see up here at the top, it shows you like a quick summary of the top talents and the top trinkets to use. And this, like for instance, we go from up here at the top trinkets, Unbound Changeling, Kabbalah's Hymnal, Mirror, Unbound Changeling, Quantum Device, Hymnal Changeling, Hymnal Changeling. Like, so obviously Hymnal is a very, very strong trinket, so we already know by looking at this stuff that we should be chasing after a Hymnal and probably wearing it, even if it's like a lower eye level than some of our other trinkets. Yeah, this is a quick summary on how to look this stuff up for yourself and figure out and make good decisions for yourself when a new patch rolls around, or when you aren't sure about, your Covenant choice or your trinket selection or your soul binds or your conduits or your legendaries, all these things that are in the game, all these different game systems. This is how you find that out on your own without having to wait for, your favorite YouTuber or something to make like a guide for you when it's already too late. And then the other problem with YouTube videos is they can't update that information unless they make a new YouTube video. So it could be literally days after they make that video that it's already outdated and giving you, misinformation essentially. So hopefully this helps. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. Subscribe and like and all that stuff if you enjoy the content and want to see more of it. And feel free to DM me on Discord as well if you have any questions or need help kind of going through this and whatnot. So thank you all so much for watching, and have a good one.